I wanted to discuss the nuanced difference between belief and knowledge, especially in the
Okay.
context of atheism and agnosticism. And
Okay.
to be specific, both atheism and atheism deal with personal belief about the existence of God, right? Whereas,
No,
okay,
like when you say they deal with personal belief, what do you mean by that?
so theism and atheism are about personal belief about the existence of God.
No, so let me make my position clear before you get ahead, because usually what happens is that people come and they're talking about someone else's definition of atheism. My
Sure.
position is that I'm an agnostic atheist. I don't know if God or gods exist, and therefore, because there is no evidence, I have no reason to believe in it.
Yeah, yeah.
People
Okay.
who make the claim that God exists, the burden of proof is on them. They have to provide evidence for it.
Let me.
So I don't believe that God does not exist. I simply reject the claim that theists make that God exists because I don't have any evidence.
Okay, let me complete my question.
Okay.
So I'm talking about theism and atheism dealing with beliefs rather, and instead agnosticism dealing with knowledge. Right? So agnosticism deals
I'm
with.
not completely sure I understand what you mean, but I will let you finish your argument and then we'll talk about it. Go on.
So agnosticism deals with, agnostic. When you say you when people say they're agnostic, they talk
Hmm.
about having a lack of knowledge about the existence of God.
Yeah.
So my point is that theism and atheism deal with beliefs, whereas agnosticism deals with knowledge. So there's
Okay.
an
Yeah. In that
important.
respect, yeah. Yeah.
So there's this important difference between knowledge and belief. And
Hmm.
since we're talking about a concept of God, which is largely unfalsifiable,
Hmm.
I fail to register what's the meaning of knowledge and how is it different from belief. At what point do we say something is knowledge and something is belief in at least in these sensitive matters like this?
You do think that knowledge and belief are different, right?
Yeah,
So
but
why are you asking me?
I would just like to get some more important some more insights about this, because in many situations the line between belief and knowledge is very blurry.
I can you give me an example of a situation where the line is blurry?
Um, let's say I meet a friend,
Hmm.
and they told me that they were walking down the road and
Hmm.
they got robbed yesterday.
Okay.
Is that should that be considered as belief or knowledge? And this is just a
Y-
very
you
trivial situation.
know, you don't know if your friend is telling the truth, but you do know that that is what they said to you.
Yeah, but if you were to, let's say, testify in the court.
You will say that my friend told me this. Were you
Okay.
there? No. Do you know for sure? No, because my friend told me this. I have no reason to disbelieve my friend because there is no reason my friend would lie to me. And my friend does not have a history of lying to me. So I am reasonably confident that my friend did not lie to me. But I was not there. And my friend told me that they got robbed. So that's what I'm going to testify to. I am sure that my friend told it to me. Even though I'm not 100% sure that it did happen, I can testify with 100% certainty that my friend did tell this to me. Correct?
Yeah, and what do you think it should happen in, in unfalsifiable matters like the claims about God, the existence of God?
Wait,
Can
are
there
you
be
the
any
one who
concept
in
of?
the private are you the one who was talking about unfalsifiability in the private chat?
No, I was not. I
That
think.
was Danish. Okay. Anyway, Danish is next. Danish is okay. Danish is not next, but he's on the queue. Go on.
Yeah. So, can there be any concept of the knowledge of God, existence of God, in, because we cannot even know what can be known about God, right?
That would depend on who's making the claim and the nature of the claim.
No, the claim is simple. The God exists.
Okay. So give me a definition of God.
Let's consider let's consider Abrahamic God.
Okay.
Yeah, if someone says that they know either the existence or the non-existence of God, like how do
How
we?
I would ask them how they know.
Hmm. Yeah, so basically there can be no idea, there can be nothing about the knowledge about this claim, right? So there's no meaning of knowledge about this matter. It's
No,
only
no.
a matter of
Hold on,
belief.
hold on, hold on, hold on. You said that this person said that they know that God exists, right?
Uh,
So I would be stuck at that point. How do they know?
yeah, so yeah, exactly. I would also do that. But then
Hmm.
the point is, can there be any reasonable person who would claim that they have knowledge about this? Because I was looking at the chart, the difference between agnosticism and atheism. I was
Hmm.
looking at that quadrant, four
Hmm.
quadrants,
Hmm.
and agnostic atheists are those who don't know and
Yeah.
they don't claim,
Don't believe. Yeah.
don't believe. Yes, and there were also agnostic theists and
Yeah.
atheists.
Gnostic atheist. Oh,
Gnostic,
yeah. Yeah.
Gnostic theists and Gnostic. Yeah, all four combinations.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So if the matter is about I mean, if we're talking about an unfalsifiable thing,
Hmm.
entity like God,
Hmm.
then what, like, how are those people justified? Like, how are those people's beliefs justified who are Gnostic
I
atheists?
I'm personally of the opinion that they're not justified.
Okay.
Like I'm an agnostic atheist. I don't know and I therefore do not believe. If a religious person says I know that God exists, I would ask them, how do you know? If an atheist of the Gnostic variety comes and says, I know that there is no God, I would still ask them, how do you know this? How can you know this?
Yeah.
If an agnostic theist exists, agnostic theists, by the way, are most probably people who describe themselves as spiritual but not religious, who say that I don't know if God exists, but I believe that God exists. In that case, I can't ask them how they know, but my question to them would be, why do you believe God exists?
Yeah.
And
So
then that
belief,
conversation can be longer.
yeah, yeah. And belief is something that, you cannot do much about beliefs, but we're talking
Yeah.
about knowledge. So I'm still thinking, can there be anyone who would know for sure? When they claim that they
I
know.
see, I don't know if there can be anyone who can know for sure, which is why I would not say that you don't know. I would ask, how do you know? Maybe they can give me some method that they used in order to find out. But for the most part, I don't think anyone has ever demonstrated uh, sufficient grounds for knowing that God exists or does not exist.
And okay, yeah, um, mostly on the same grounds as you. But
Okay.
even if we extend this concept to general matters,
Hmm.
uh, general concepts. For example, we in many cases, let's talk about some scientific concepts.
Hmm.
Let's talking about for beginning. Let's talk about germ theory or something
Hmm.
like even Big
Hmm.
Bang.
Yeah.
When we say we know about this, we come
Hmm.
to know this through books
Hmm.
or maybe people around us. We have not done the research behind this, and I think this same topic had been discussed last week as well, where
I
we don't.
Last week we were talking about social media.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Hmm.
So the idea is that we don't do all of the things that would qualify as knowledge. But let's say we don't do the actual research. We do only a specific part of research.
Hmm.
In that case, when we hear something from let's say our elders, friends, experts, teachers, whatever,
Hmm.
should that qualify as belief or should that qualify as knowledge?
It should qualify as reasonable amounts of confidence, I think. Like, for example, germ theory. If someone told you that germs exist and you said, how do you know? They said, I just know it.
Yeah, yeah,
We
exactly.
will not take them seriously. But they will say, yeah, pick up that microscope and look at this. Right? Germ theory, like for the Big Bang, at least you will have to go to a university,
Yeah, I was
right?
going
There
to
is
come
no
to
direct
that.
way of observing it. But germ theory is clearly very, like, there is a set method using which you can verify the existence of germs. And
Mhm.
you can actually use it. Like right now, you can use it if you have a microscope in order to verify it.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe the germ theory was a relatively simple one because we can
Hmm.
directly verify that.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you think about something that happens on large scales, unimaginable scales, like with the Big Bang or other
Hmm.
cosmological phenomena,
Yeah.
in that
There are
case,
still There are still methods and methodologies that have been noted down by scientists throughout the ages, using which they have come to the conclusion that the Big Bang is something that is supposed to have happened.
Right.
You can look at all the data, you can do all the research for yourself, and you can come to the same conclusion, at least mathematically. Or you may find certain holes in it, which is why we still call it a model. If
Um,
tomorrow something else turns up which significantly disrupts the Big Bang model, we'll stop believing in it. And we will believe whatever the evidence shows then.
yeah, so you're talking about belief then, right? If we
I
study,
said, no, no, I'm not talking about belief in the way that I talk about belief in God, because in the case of God, there is absolutely no evidence. For Big Bang, there is a model. This thing exists here, this thing exists here. Here is a model about how these two connect, and if this connection is true, then it must be here that this thing must have happened, and all these things correlate with each other and they work well together.
and for someone, for general people, if
Hmm.
we have two books in front of us, and one of them is where it talks about the verity of the Big Bang model as much as we know it,
Hmm.
and the other one talks about some spiritual phenomena.
Hmm.
In that case, let's say the existence of demons or existence of God, for that matter.
Yeah,
In that case, we're reading both the books, and we're calling one knowledge, the other one belief. Is that correct?
you can verify one of them
Yeah.
and
So
the other one you can't.
the only distinction between a stimulus we receive from either a book or a person or someone, and then call that knowledge, is
Can you
that
repeat that? Can you repeat that?
the only distinction
Hmm.
between a stimulus that is verifiable, whose
Hmm.
information is verifiable
Hmm.
through other means, not directly by you, but through
Hmm.
other means. You're calling that knowledge, correct?
I think that was half a sentence. The only difference between a stimulus provided by this and the other, which was the other one?
The other one is whom for which there exists no evidence,
Okay.
such as a spiritual claim.
Yeah, so that's not actually, that's a claim. If the Big Bang was only a claim, there would be no grounds to believe in it. But the Big Bang is more than a claim. There is a claim, and then there is a model that supports that claim, and then there is the mathematics to verify it. So you have
Yeah,
three things on one side
yeah,
and
yeah,
zero things on the other side.
yeah.
So
So
reasonably confidence, reasonable amounts of confidence can be applied to this thing.
okay, so knowledge is not the distinction between knowledge and belief then becomes reasonable amounts of confidence. Is that verifiable confidence? Let's say.
Reasonable amounts of confidence based on verifiable, demonstrable evidence.
Okay, okay, all right, sounds good to
I
me.
don't know if I would want to. I don't know if you're writing this down. I don't know if I want to present this as the definitive definition of knowledge and belief. But
No,
I'm only answering the questions that you have asked.
no, it's interesting because I had this debate long time back, like multiple years back, with a
Hmm.
friend, and we had a discussion about evolution, and our discussion boiled down to the distinction between belief and fact,
Okay.
and that's why I'm coming here years later to discuss
Okay.
about it. But
Now
yeah, maybe
there is another point here also. Uh, there is a scientific establishment. There are recognized scientific journals, etc. And there are topical experts, like people who are experts in cosmology or geology or germ theory, for example. And we largely have not been disappointed with them as far as depiction of reality is concerned. So imagine someone comes to your doorstep every day and drops a 10 rupee note and goes away, right? uh, One day you are late and you don't see them drop the 10 rupee note, but the 10 rupee note is there and you think they must have dropped it before I came. One day you don't see a 10 rupee note, and you will come to the conclusion, okay, maybe they didn't come today, maybe something else happened, maybe they dropped the 10 rupee note but and went away and somebody else took it or something. But their record by and large instills confidence in you, correct?
yeah,
Yeah. So with the scientific establishment, the thing is that sure, there are occasional misfires, there are occasional misdiagnosis happens, but by and large, whatever models we have to explain reality, the Big Bang model, gravity, all of these work well together, like they plug into each other well. There are some aspects of science which are like edge cases where we don't know the full truth, like quantum mechanics, for example. But by and large, it is reasonable to think that the scientific establishment is working to unravel the secrets of the universe or the secrets of reality. So, sure, if it was the case that every single theory they gave us proved to be some broken in some way, then there will be less confidence. But for the most part, it all works together. So there is less reason to think that it is false and more reason to think that it is true.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good. All right.
Thanks, Rajat. Thank you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.